best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block, helmets casted is top. You be seeing helmet after helmet, helmet after helmet. First place, second place, fifth place, eighth place, 12th place, 15, 16, 20. So many helmets, you got blurred vision, we got too many. Get your tech. Oh man, shit. They got us fucked up. Army, regroup. We pledge always to have that edge. We don't fire warning shots. Competition just dropped. We locked and loaded before lock. Whatever the time, yeah. Do you even correlate?
Being the best requires a willingness to outwork your competition. There's always someone smarter, faster, sharper, more naturally gifted to come around.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, DFS Up North, a.k.a. Josh Thomas, with another DFS Army Fore Thoughts podcast for your first look at the Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands. I'm here to give you my 4 thoughts on GPP roster construction, or just about the tournament in general this week. But before we get there, we got to talk about the U.S. Open and my boy Jon Rahm absolutely crushing. What a back nine on Sunday. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I love to watch that. That is so much fun watching these pros struggle, because it makes it real, right? Like, it's just as hard for me as it is for them sometimes. And there was some serious money changing hands on with some of these holes. Guys who had Bryson in their lineups were losing hundreds of thousands of dollars with that blow up. And so is he. That's what makes DFS golf a lot of fun. So I love it. I thought it was a great tournament. I've been really proud of Jon Rahm and what he's been doing. It's been fun to watch, him, obviously with the tough situation at the Memorial, but how he handled that. And then to come out and win, like, stud. Like, are you kidding me? To make those 2 putts on 17 and 18 were just, it was excellent. It was a lot of fun to watch. It made for a pretty good Father's Day. You know who else had a pretty good Father's Day? My boy CM Bell, 715 on FanDuel, 100K, no big freaking deal. I love that. What a lineup too, right? Had the major champion, Louis Oosthuizen, right? The guy shows up at every single major. Boy, that we talked up a lot about in DFS Army. We talked about on the betting side of the Sharp app, but Guido Migliozzi, really strong performance there, 4th place, -2. Guy that, we talked a little bit about in the chat on especially on Wednesday. I know that me and E-Money were talking about, hey, I am forcing Christian Bezuidenhout into as many lineups as I can. Came out and crushed. Jon Rahm obviously had the winner, had PC, who is I think going to be a core play for me this week. And then major slayer Brooks Koepka too. So like a really strong lineup. It was tight down to the wire for him. These top heavy contests, he's going from 100K to 10K, right? Won by 0.9 points. Had to be just sweating Bezuidenhout making bogeys on Sunday, but another guy who probably benefited from Bryson falling apart there. So big shout out to him, and not just him. We had 2 other 100K winners this weekend at DFS Army. So if you are not a DFS Army VIP, you are missing out. You can use the code UPNORTH, 10% off for life, a VIP membership. You can see that code right at the bottom there. I'll link it into the description of this video on YouTube as well. So TBC River Islands, par 35-35. I'm bad at math, but I do know that 35 and 35 does not equal 71, but sometimes my fat fingers get in the way. Par 68-41. This is one of the shortest courses that we play on tour. There are tight fairways. It is tree line, but for some reason we do end up seeing, guys who are long play well here. We'll get to that in the 4 thoughts. We are bent grass tee to green. Very few courses that we see on tour have this much bent grass. This is something that's very common in the Northeast, the Midwest, where, colder temperatures make it a little bit tougher to, have Bermuda or things like that, right? POA mix. The POA doesn't necessarily end up being a huge issue here, but as you know, with any POA, the afternoons, it tends to bubble up a little and bloom, and we get a little bit bumpier greens to put on. So for thought number 1, this is the most important thought this week. Do not have a U.S. Open hangover. All right. This is something that people do a lot. All right. And this is twofold here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is people watch the US Open. Everybody watches the US Open. Next week, players' ownership is going to be massive if they played well at the US Open, more so than normal. And it's going to be cratered if they did not play well. So if Bryson ends up teeing it up this week, because of the struggles that he had on Sunday, his ownership is going to be 0. Now, I'm not convinced that Bryson's going to play this week, but his ownership is going to be so low because everybody watched him make like 1 million strokes on the back nine, right? So don't put so much weight into 1 week. And I got pictured here as a guy who I am like very, very excited that he is back. Matthew Wolff dealt with some mental health things, which is, as I know, a struggle. Right? Came back and played excellent. Like, I thought he played really, really well. Struggled a little bit on Sunday, but played really, really well. Got himself into contention at a major after not playing in 2 months, which is one of the most impressive things I've seen in a while. Maybe more impressive than John Ram winning. But he's teeing it up this week. All right? I think Wolf's a great guy. I think he's an excellent story. He's a pretty good player. But are we going to really bank on 1 week sample size at a course that his coach has said, like, this is like the best course fit for him out there? Now at a tight, like tough course, like at 90 whatever Matthew Wolff is, like, I have no interest unless he's trending towards like 3% ownership, which I doubt happens because of how well he played and how much media attention he got last week. So you can't have a US Open hangover by jumping on these guys, but then guys might actually have a US Open hangover. They might struggle a little bit after playing, in the spotlight. So a guy that I really like this week is Kevin Streelman, but now he's coming off two tournaments in a row or 2 majors in a row where he was in contention. At some point, your body kind of falls back. All right. So you got to take that a little bit into account. I try not to let these narratives, mess with me too much and look at the larger sample size. That's why I'm going to play a guy like Streelman this week, who I love, but I'm not going to play a guy like Matthew Wolff, who I think might be, a small sample size guy. Another guy that I'm going to save and talk about for my for the DFS Army VIPs is Guido Migliozzi, my boy. Love Guido. Played really well last week, but what are we going to do with him this week at 7,200 on DFS? Got to check out the cheat sheets. Fore Thought number 2, medium par 4s are king. Look at those ugly mugs there. You got to be like a terrible looking guy to crush these medium par 4s. So we got Emiliano Grillo, Abraham Answer, and Patrick Cantlay, the top 3 guys in this tournament at scoring on medium par 4s. There are 8 medium par 4s between 400 and 450 yards this week. That's going to be a key stat. How do you score on these par 4s? I think all 3 are going to be excellent plays this week, but again, they're all going to be pretty popular too. So trying to find that diamond in the rough there on those medium par 4s might be key to your GPP success. Fore Thought number 3, a lesser known Pete Dye course is still a Pete Dye course. I am a Pete Dye truther. I think he's the best golf designer in the history of the game. I think that they shouldn't be called Pete Dyes. They should be called Pete Nallis Dyes, but that's neither here nor there. This is a Pete Dye course. All right. If you look at how it was, how this course was designed, Dye designed this as TPC Connecticut in 1982. In 1989, there was a complete redesign. All right, by Bobby Weed. People think like, oh, did they blow up the Pete Dye? No. What ended up happening is that the course was able to. It's a private course, so they were able to purchase the some surrounding area that they didn't have access to in 1982. So what they did was they got Bobby Weed to come in and redo the back nine so that it fit more with what the front nine was. Because really what ended up happening is they didn't have enough room for a course here, and they kind of had to squeeze it in. Now, who is Bobby Weed? Well, Bobby Weed is one of Pete Dye's right-hand men. He helped design Hilton Head, which is another shortish course. So like the name on the course is Bobby Weed. This is a Pete Dye course. All right. They're going to trick you up off the tees. The green complexes are very similar. The bunkering is very similar. So as such, what you're going to see is that guys who do tend to play well at Pete Dye courses are going to continue to play well at Pete Dye courses, and this is another one of them. So I think that is an angle in this week that we can look at who plays well on Pete Dyes, and one of those guys in those 3 pictures back on the other screen are one of them, and you're going to find out if you are in the DFS Army Discord, I can hook you up and let you know who it is. All right, Fore Thought number 4. It appears to favor short hitters. Like on the surface, we look and we're like, all right, this is a short hitter's course. But when we dive in a little bit, we see that these longer hitters, guys like Dustin Johnson, Will Gordon's one of the longest guys on tour. All right, Bryson, Stallings, all super long. But then you got guys like Mackenzie Hughes, Kevin Na, Ryan Armour, who's maybe the shortest guy on tour. Again, as we say in this all the time, there's multiple ways to, for lack of a better term, skin a cat, right? You can get it done multiple ways around here, but I do think there's a benefit to having some length here. You look at last year when you watch DJ play, there's maybe 1-2 holes around that he hit driver on. The rest, he's hitting 3-wood, he's hitting hybrid, he's hitting iron. So that length allows him to hit these shorter clubs. And when he does that, what happens to his fairway percentage? Up, all right? He puts himself in position, whereas Ryan Armour is hitting driver every time, but that's fine. He's going to hit fairways. He's going to be at 2-7. They're going to be in similar type landing spots. So what it comes down to is that I think that the long, if you're a long hitter and you're really good with your irons, but maybe you're a little bit wayward at times, I think that makes a perfect sense for here. If you're a long hitter and you are crushing at approach right now, you are going to smash this week. So dive into the stats, find that. Again, we have weekly packages for PGA, $9.99 a week, $29.99 a month, $300 a year. But like I said, we have 300K winners. Are you kidding me? $69.99 a month up north, 10% off that. It's about $60 a month. Like if you don't make $60 back in the next month by joining DFS Army, hit me up. We'll find you a refund or something, right? Like that's insane. Guys are crushing week in, week out. It ain't just PGA. Though we did have a 100K winner. What up, right? It is every single sport. We're getting into our groove here in the summer. I'm so excited for this week in the Travelers. I'll have VIP content out for everybody later this week. Have a fantastic week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll chat soon.